So it's going to be a book of stories around each song, basically, that's influenced each song.
That's great. That's how I would lay in bed. I don't know if it was a feather bed, but it was comfortable enough.
I ran into a bear a couple of times.
Hello, welcome to the Blue Couch. Have a seat. Today we're talking with Liz Pomeroy, better known as 0Stella. Better known as? Also known as?
Also known as.
Right on. Artist name. You're like Prince. You have an artist name. You should legally change it and then never go back to Liz. Don't even respond. Liz, and you're like, excuse me?
That's my plan. It's like a 5-year plan.
Amazing. So first things first, you have a new album in the pipeline.
I do.
That is fun. So where are you doing it? Who's doing it? What's happening with it?
Well, it is inspired by a cross-Canada cycle that I did in 2022.
Yeah.
And it's been done at Velveteen Audio,
Nice
who are Edmonton-based.
Yes.
Brad now travels a whole lot back and forth between the Okanagan, so a lot of it has been done remotely. So I've been
Brad Simons, by the way.
Yeah. Brad Simons, yeah. And I also did my first EP with him, Little Yes, Little No.
Oh, okay. So it's coming back around.
It is.
Circle.
Yeah, it's really nice. And so I'm kind of in this funny little insulated COVID-esque bubble still, in that most of it's being done remotely again.
There you go.
So I'm quite excited on the next record to get back into a physical studio with my musicians, but this has been perfect.
So he's doing a lot of the heavy lifting out there. Mm-hmm. And then when, like, let's say the fiddle was done, where
Edmonton.
did you go to record that?
Jared Albright did it in his studio.
In his house. Okay, that's great. Mm-hmm. So yeah, having so many people have rigs now.
Yeah,
it makes it so easy to do that stuff. It's never the same as being in a room, which we did the other day. And that was really fun.
Yeah.
So to catch you guys up, we recorded at Resonate Music School. Resonate, yes, of course, Resonate. Resonate Music School, northern Edmonton-ish. Mm-hmm. And we did a live off the floor thing. 4 songs?
4 songs, 2 oldies and 2 newies.
There you go. Yeah. And that will be coming out when the singles are?
It'll come out in October. So those 2 new songs, one of them will be released already. So this will coincide with that. And then the second new song that we performed on that live performance will function as a teaser.
Great. So now I'm always learning, I'm learning about this Juno stuff. So you're releasing it in a way that the album will still be eligible for a Juno, right? Nomination or? Because I've heard if you release a song, then if it's on that record, then that song is not, or that album then is not eligible to be, you know what I mean? I don't know how. Am I tailspin now?
A little, sort of. So I've submitted to the Junos on every release.
Right.
The only issue I've come up against so far is simply that I had done this deliberately, where I took my previous album, Pendulum State, and I split it into 2 mini albums with the purpose of applying for the Junos each year. However, when I tried to get a 3rd year out of it, so when the full collection came out, that didn't work because more than 50% of the material was previously released on another album. So re-releases aren't eligible for Junos.
Oh, I see.
But there is there's the window of eligibility kind of overlaps. Like it's about 12 months plus a couple of months.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I had originally planned to release the actual album for November, which would be just inside of this year's eligibility.
Got it.
But it just had to get pushed. So I'll just apply next year.
Exactly. That was the same thing happened with Danita. We were trying to push for last year. And we're just like, you know what? Why would we rush? Like, there's just no reason. It's stressful. You end up cutting corners. You end up maybe with something where you're like, if we had just taken it. It's like, no, let's just breathe. It's not a race. And sometimes when you wait, that's just the right thing, you know?
Totally. And when I was planning the release of this album for the original date, which was like October or November of this year, I also was wanting to have a European tour around then. So organizing that as an independent was going to be a whole other thing.
Right.
Plus, this record is going to be released on CD format, but in a miniature book instead of a CD
Oh, how
case.
cool.
So it's going to be a book of stories around each song, basically, that's
Oh, how
influenced each
great.
song.
That's great.
I went to Folk Alliance a couple of years ago in Montreal, and I met Scott Cook there, and he gifted me his book that he had made. He's also done a lot of cycling as a musician, and he has this gorgeous book that I'm very much inspired by. So my book will be similar to that, but there'll be like fold out maps of Canada to see the route that I took, and the CD will be in the
Incredible.
back. And
We're gonna have to talk. We're gonna talk about the cycling in depth here in a minute.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the concept around that. So then I also have a book essentially that I have to write before the album drops to
no
write all
pressure.
of these
Yeah, no
stories.
pressure.
So it just, the more things kept piling up. And again, you don't want to rush things and do things half
Nope.
effort. So it made sense to push it to the spring.
Yes. I keep discovering this over and over with music for myself. And it happened maybe twice at least on this Danita record where she would say, "Hey, have you gotten to fleshing out this one song yet?" And I'm like, God, no. And I kept forgetting, or like life get in the way, go do a fly date and realize, oh yeah, I gotta start doing that. Not that it's a bother, but like feeling bad, like I really need to be doing this. But both times, the result was unreal. It was like, well, I'm glad we waited and it happened now, because we thought this was a filler song and it has become one of the standouts. And it's the same, like I learned this lesson in LA. I was doing a country record with my band at the time. We were doing all originals. And it was a really fun country band. None of the country band. It was none of that bro country. It was all like back porch, old school. We did Johnny, Willie, Merle, all of it. Hank. And then we made a record that it was an ode to the old school stuff. And one day I was supposed to, so we did all the basic tracks live off the floor. I played mostly rhythm, and I did some solos, but we were like, you know what, we can get a better sound on that. You'll have a day of guitars. I'm like, sounds great. So there was one day and I was feeling under the gun and I had a hard out, and I was like, and I called the producer and I was in a fit, and he goes, you know what? What does tomorrow look like? I'm like, tomorrow is just free. And he goes, come in tomorrow. Well, thank goodness we did that, because I went in and that was just a magic day, because you know how every day is different. One day you play and sing great, the next day you can't get out of your own way. Mm-hmm. Well, this was one of those magic days where I couldn't play a wrong note. Oh. And I was just so glad we waited, and that taught me a lesson like, right, if you have the luxury of time, which we mostly don't in the music business, but if you at all can eke out or just sit, don't be worried about it has to be done now. Like you're saying, like your record will be released when it's released, and maybe that'll just be the stars will align right because you wait, because you didn't force something, right?
I agree. And that's happened a lot on this record also. It was supposed to be done in a 12-month block, and it's reaching into year 2 or 3 at this point.
Of course.
And if I had have rushed it, I wouldn't have the songs that I do now. So I'm totally happy with it.
I've only heard 2 and played the 2 with you on this live thing we did. I love the songs. I love all your songs. You always have these lyrics that get me. God, what is the one? Feather bed. What is the song? What's that lyric that I love?
Slip into your feather bed.
And think of things you never said, or whatever.
Yeah.
That line.
And dream of
we can't even think
things
of
you never said.
Yes.
Dream of truths you never said.
Okay, when I heard that, I was like, oh man. Because, everyone resonates with certain lyrics, and that for my, early adulthood when I was squandering relationships, that's how I would lay in bed. I don't know if it was a feather bed, but it was comfortable enough. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, oh, and I should have said this. So when I was learning that song to play a gig with you, I was like,
oh.
It just poof, right in the chest.
Oh, man.
But that's what it's supposed to do. It was cathartic. I was like, right, I'm not the only one.
Well, thank you. And
Good shit.
I love hearing that about lines that aren't technically perfect either, because like grammatically, it's such a strange sentence. It's incorrect grammatically, and it bugs
Perfect.
me often. But I'm glad it like the message gets across despite that. That's cool.
Speaking of that, very funny, like early story. My dad or mom corrected my English at some point. I'm like, well, can Elvis say you ain't nothing but a hound dog? And they're like, well, that's called artistic license. I'm like, 5. I'm like, what are you talking about? Come on. Too young for all this nonsense. Just let me say the word ain't. I think I wanted to say ain't. I'm like, I ain't going. And they're like, well, first of all, you're going. And second of all, don't say ain't. And then I thought I had him, and they just shut me down.
Parents.
My dad, he always managed that. There was a funny time also when I was just learning to play guitar. And my parents were smart. They made me play this 3/4 size old nylon string acoustic that my mom had brought over from Europe, and the action was like this high off the neck. It was hard to play. It didn't sound great. But they were like, if you play this for a year and you stick with it, then we can talk about getting you a guitar. So I had stuck with it. We were months into it. My teacher was like, no, this kid puts in the time, because that's what I did. I didn't care. And so my dad comes home one day while I'm taking my lesson, and my teacher has this like incredible brand new guitar. It's like a Kramer, and it was all black. The neck was black, the guitar was black, all the knobs were black, all the hardware was black, and it came with black strings.
Oh.
So this thing just was a rock and roll machine, one pickup, just a shred monster. And at that time, it was the 80s, I was into that kind of stuff. And so I said to my dad, so my birthday's coming up, maybe I could get a guitar, something like this or whatever. And he just, the perfect line, he just goes, does your playing warrant that guitar? I'm like, no. And then I had nothing. Well, what am I supposed to say after that? No, it doesn't. I've been playing 7 months. What? Ooh, you just got me. Shut me down. Held my hand under the water till I stopped moving. And he's like, okay.
No.
Not gonna get you that, man.
I tried to do that myself with the St. Vincent guitar that I got, because I saw it and it was a time pressure thing.
That thing is so great.
It's so gorgeous, and mercifully from Long and McQuaid, they like put it on layaway for me, so I was like,
that's great.
Incrementally paying them some stuff. And I guess in the agreement it was supposed to be like done and dusted in a couple of payments, and then I could take it home. But
They let you skate on it a little.
Oh man, did I ever, like a year. And then I start getting phone calls from management being like, you gotta finish off paying this thing. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'll come in and put another $50 on it. So I go in and I would ask to play it every time I was in. I'm like, oh, here's some more money, keep it for me. And then when I wasn't looking, my husband bought out the restaurant for my birthday.
Ty.
He was feeling bad because he left our garage door open and a bicycle of mine got stolen. As you're familiar with.
Yeah, done that twice.
Yeah,
2 times, not once.
so same. He bought out the end of the guitar.
Good man.
But I was so proud of myself, because like when I did the cycle tour, that was the first tour I've ever come home from, and especially such a long one, where I came home in the black, and I was able to just like walk into Long McQuaid and hand them a wad of cash and be like, put that on the guitar.
Wow.
It was beautiful.
So for the viewers at home, let's talk about that. So you have done how many times across Canada?
Just one.
Oh, I thought it was 2.
One time, and then I intended to do it a second time.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking.
And went through BC, and then plans changed and I went to Europe instead then.
Oh, drag.
Did Europe.
Yeah. So take us through this. How did you think about, what inspired you to, so once again, just to kind of set the stage, Liz drove from BC to, where did you end up on the East Coast?
Oh, on my bike?
Yeah.
Halifax.
So all the way across Canada, towing a little trailer with her guitar, enough clothes, I would imagine a tent, and provisions.
Tools,
And so how did you, was it a vision? Did you have a dream?
I was watching an Instagram live by Glenn Hansard, who was a huge influence on me growing up. He's the lead singer of The Frames.
Okay.
It was mid-lockdown, and he remarked how clean the skies were all looking now that no one was flying anywhere. And it got
They
him
were
thinking,
incredible.
yeah. And it got him thinking that when things opened up again, that he would rework his world tour schedule to have fewer transatlantic flights to kind of help keep things tidy. And I thought that was a very admirable aspiration, but whether or not he would honor that is his own decision.
Sure.
But I thought maybe the girl with the zero in her name for zero waste should probably be the one to actually do something like that. So I was staring down the barrel of a finished record and watching all my friends start up tours that they'd had in the works for months, in amongst all the mayhem, and just to watch the venues have to get shut a week or days before their tour was due to start. It was agonizing, and it just seemed like such a faff and like zero way to run a business for the artist, for the venue. Like it was a losing game. But I wasn't willing to sit on the record for an indefinite amount of time either. And so
you have to, it's like go time once you have the product.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've already spent how long working on it? I sincerely feel for artists that are on labels and they get their album shelved to sometimes never come out to see the light of day. But even when they do, it's so many years down the road. Like you're emotionally over that, telling that story.
Moved on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I had a line on a loan of a camper van, like a cute little Sprinter van that was that had a stage built on the top of it, because it was owned by a band down in the States, and they were touring the US that way, and they would just drive, get up on their roof and play a show and move on. And then the guy changed his mind, and the plan was to have my bike strapped to the back of it to just go for a dawdle between shows. And then that fell through. And I had along the way been invited to France to do a residency.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And then so my idea was that sure, I'll drive and cycle across Canada, and then I'll take the shortest possible transatlantic flight from like East Coast Halifax to Dublin, and then move through Europe the rest of the time or whatever. And then when that residency also got bumped to another year because of having to space out artists and stuff like that over restrictions. And then the van fell away. So I was just left with my 2 feet, my 2 legs really, and wasn't taking no for an answer. So I figured we'll go with the bike.
How the thing came about quite organically.
Very organically, yeah.
It was a necessity.
It was, yeah. And I remember having a meeting with a music marketer, and I told him that I had this notion of the van and the bike, and he was like, well, you just found your story for the year on socials. You're not going to wait until you go. You're going to fold everyone in on the process of getting ready for this whole thing.
Amazing.
So yeah, it just turned into this enormous adventure. I had a tour manager helping out. I had an intern also helping out.
Yeah.
We would have weekly meetings, and then I would also release a single every 6 weeks along the cycle as well. So I was booking shows.
It was a whole thing.
2 weeks out, and also doing like release strategies.
And there were some hairy times, right?
Yeah, there were hairy times. Did
you have any, I forget, you may have told stories of this to me, but wildlife issues?
There were wildlife issues, yeah. I saw...
Encounters?
Yeah, I ran into a bear a couple of times. But one time it was out towards Halifax. It was in New Brunswick. And I was about 2 or 3 days behind Hurricane Fiona that had gone through.
Okay.
So I was out in the bush going along these cycle trails, and there was just fallen little saplings along the trails. And then eventually the saplings turned into larger trees and larger trees. And luckily for me, I had brought a handy dandy little fold out tree saw. So I had a pocket saw, and I was going through essentially clearing the cycle trail for other cyclists, being like, I'll do my good deed for the day. And
was it like gravel?
It was gravel.
Oh,
yeah.
That's okay with your road bike?
Yeah, it was fine. It's a touring bike, so the tires were wide enough. Yeah.
Okay.
And Yeah, I got to a point where like the trees now were too big, so I'd have to roll the bike into the bush off the trail through their like empty caverns from the stumps and
Oh
around
man.
that. And then in other cases when I couldn't get through, I would have just enough room if I sawed all the branches off, I'd be
E.
able to roll the bike underneath the actual trunk because it was
Right.
that large. So I had just done that. And then I was staring down the trail and there was a bear. I thought it was a barn cat to begin with, but as it got closer, it turned out very much to be a bear. And we did this what felt very long standoff thing where he was standing perpendicular to me going like, oh, you're intriguing, oh, you're a bit scary, oh, you're intriguing, oh, you're a bit scary.
Easy
And
guys.
I was just trying to look as big and scary as I could, and
Yeah.
eventually he ran away, but I
Kind of
cycled.
eyeballing what tree could I maybe climb here.
But he was a
Although they
black
climb.
bear. It was pointless.
They can
They climb
climb.
also.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
yeah. So I've never cycled that bike so fast along gravel in my life when I
I
turned around.
bet. Woo.
So yeah, and there was a cougar at one point. There were wolves. There was all sorts of wildlife along the way.
Wowzers.
Yeah,
Good times.
really good.
But what an adventure. What an amazing thing to do. I mean, Liz has roped my wife, Daphne, and I into a 100K ride, which is going to be great. The email that we got from, what's the company putting it on again?
It's the Badlands Gran Fondo.
That's it. And they actually, once I signed up with them and followed them on Instagram, they do rides everywhere.
Right.
Yeah. So there's one in Utah that just happened
Yes.
through like Zion. I was like, oh, brilliant, because Zion is just incredible. So that's great what they do. And so this will be in July in the Badlands down in Drumheller. So training begins.
Yes, it
Excited
does.
for that.
One of these days, I'll
But
get on
like,
my
yeah,
bike.
when is the? By the way, you can see out the window here. This is spring in Canada. This is what we call spring.
Fresh.
Really not cool, man. I needed to dry up and start riding every day. I mean, I've been riding my fat tire bike as much as I can,
Yeah.
which is great because going uphill with that thing,
That's good training.
each tire weighs more than my other bike. Probably.
Yes.
Not that much, but quite a bit. And it is good to go uphill with that. But we're in search of the longest hill in Edmonton. The one that goes up to the top. So do you know where those football fields are? And they're on the south side of the river. And when you're on top of them, you're looking over the Riverdale Valley community and then downtown Edmonton.
Oh, I think so.
So there's a hill that goes up from like southwest of those football fields. And it's really long. It's not a kilometer, but it's probably one of the longer steady hills and the end gets steeper, which I don't know. This is something I've found my whole life. It may be an engineering thing because it's too consistent. Maybe with water flow, you want the top of a trail to be a little steeper so that water washes away and less erosion. I don't know, but it seems like every hill I've ever done in my life, the ending is the steepest part. And you're like, really? Thanks.
Yeah, I know.
What are you doing here? Like not roads, like proper, like freeways that you were traversing the country in, but like bike path hills seem to just right at the end.
Oh yeah, they're stingers.
You're like,
for
what are
sure.
you doing there? Why are you doing that to me? I guess it's fun at the beginning. Whoa.
That's true, actually. Yeah. On the way down, it's great.
But it's going to be fun to train. I mean, I tried. I was going to do this. It was Pilata Teamworks AIDS ride in California in 2000 and something. It was from San Fran to LA, 500 miles.
Nice.
100 miles a day. I trained up for it. I was ready to go. I was in my 30s, so I was already thinner, but like I looked like a tennis pro because I had been riding 40 miles, 70 miles. Like every other day I was doing a massive ride. And woke up the day before we were supposed to drive up with 104. Flu, fever,
Oh,
done.
no.
And I drove up anyway with my bike because my buddy was like, well, I need a ride. So we put our bikes on the bike rack. Girlfriend at the time and her friend, we went up. And then the morning of, I felt better. But I was like, and I called a guy I played with, his dad as a doctor. So I called him and I was like, should I do it? He goes, no, don't do it. He goes, you feel better now, but you'll relapse hard and then you could get pneumonia or something. And I'm like, okay, I won't do it. And it was such a bummer because then my buddy who did the ride came back and was like, dude, it was sick. Like every day you pull in and there's this tent city. Sometimes someone will have set your tent up for you as like doing you a solid. There were bands. The food was incredible. I was like,
Oh man.
that's great. I'm so glad you had such a good time. Yeah, it was a bummer.
That's too bad.
But the training was good. And I still had the training and I was svelte and in shape. So I'm looking forward to that for this.
Good.
The ride too.
Yeah.
But the training is great because it just gets you, there's nothing you can do. Like you gotta get your reps in and.
It's true. There's no last minuting this at all.
No.
You gotta be ready. Yeah. So it'll be good.
Yeah. So upcoming shows, what's going on? Local?
Yeah, I'm playing at the Salisbury Greenhouse solo show for the Ravenwood Experience
Oh yeah,
on
Ravenwood.
the 17th of April.
Very cool.
And then I've got a few other things in the works. There's going to be some festivals this year, one out in Terrace, BC. Wild Roses Festival as well, which is going to be in July.
Heard of that one, yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of things in the works. So the best way to keep on top of that is go to my website, 0Stella.com.
I'm gonna put it right here. I gotta like make it so it looks like it's sitting on my hands. Post-production, baby. Well, that's great. Super exciting stuff. So I have been asking everyone this. Most of the answers are the same, and I pretty much know the answer. But what is your feeling about where music is, where it's heading, and AI slop?
Hoi. I was just reading an article today about the Live Nation whole court case that's going on, and other career musicians were weighing in on what may happen, what might not happen, and the impact of Live Nation winning this court case. And so many artists are just having to cancel their tour because it's too expensive to do it.
Right.
But despite that though, I'm really hopeful because with all of the AI slop and everything, and yes, so many people are losing their jobs just due to AI across all industries at the moment. Despite all of that, I'm still really hopeful that with so many people like that going through job losses and having a hard time, the need for genuine human connection is going to be more important than ever.
Correct.
And the ability to tell a good story and to meet people in the space that they're at and allow them to hold space and work through whatever it is they're needing to move through.
I love it.
Is our purpose as musicians.
Yep, I agree.
I don't think we'll ever go out of necessity.
Fashion.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just how you scale it is the issue. It's all contracting at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, a buddy of mine commented on the first video I posted with Danita because we talked about this because I think this was my impetus for this podcast was really to get musicians talking about music because, you know, AI can create a song. It needs input to do it. But it can't sit and have this discussion and talk about the emotion and all of the things that go into writing a song from your heart with your life experience. And so he said exactly that in this kind of really cool, longer comment on the video where he was talking about, I might hear something that sounds great, but the minute I find out it's AI, I completely lose interest. Because I know that the lyrics and the vibe aren't coming from any kind of place of real feeling, or like he said it really eloquently, and I'm doing it justice. And it was really, really great comment. And it's exactly the kind of conversation I want to get going and keep going and foster, because when we went to see Wolfgang Van Halen, Wolfie, we went down to Vegas last year and saw him on Halloween, and it was a great show. His band is insane. He recorded everything on the record because he's fabulous multi-instrumentalist. But his band, because his vocals are so layered and his parts, he has 3 guitar players, bass and drums, and I think 4 out of the 5 guys sing. And everyone's killer, and he went out of his way to thank his crews and his artists for their album art and everyone down the line. And he kept, especially with anything creative, especially like the album art, he was like, this is not AI, and everyone cheered. And I just think, I think this is a good thing. I think people will get so fed up with it and over it and be like, yeah, I don't care for this AI music,
I think there's a very real reason that you don't have automatically playing pianos in every room. They were
Right.
they were an invention. The machine is
They're a
able to play
novelty.
itself, but no one cares.
Right.
Because there's nobody sitting at it displaying a skill set that's so hard to attain
Right.
and putting their life experience into that piece of music.
Like you
That's
said, the
what we
novelty
want.
of it, watching the drum turn, and when you see the ghost keys
Yeah.
the first time, you're like, wow. And then if you're eating in that restaurant and it's honky-tonk piano in the background, it's fine. It's like having a jukebox playing.
Yeah, or
There's
a
no
little
difference.
wind up.
It's just a jukebox.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not anything else. And that's the same thing. AI is a cover band.
Yeah.
That's all it will ever be.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
AI.
pretty much. And interestingly, like my husband's ear is able to tell if something's AI or not. Like
A
even
lot
on
of people
streaming.
can tell right away.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah,
He says
I
it's something with the
can
frequency.
sometimes, and then sometimes I hear something, and I'm like, "Wow, that sounds great." Even knowing it's AI, I will be like, maybe I wouldn't have to like put it next to something that's not,
Yeah.
and go, "Oh yeah, okay." Because like obviously sometimes you can tell, and I hate these reels where I want to listen to what they're saying, but it's that standard AI voice and AI, the gate of AI talking is so lame.
Yeah.
It's always just, I can't even imitate how lame it is, but when it's describing something, it just has these pauses and ups and downs that just are so unnatural that I don't want to watch the video, even though it might be about like a cool piece of history that I want, or a guitar player or a saxophone player or whatever, Billie Holiday, something I want to learn about. I'll be like, I can't even with you. You're just so weird. It's not even robotic. I would be almost okay if it was like monotone robot. I'd be like, okay.
It's the feigned humanism of it,
And I know it'll just sadly get better and better until you can't tell it apart.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Haven't we watched enough sci-fi horror movies and Black Mirror to like every time I see those dogs they're making that are from that Black Mirror episode, or at least that's the first time I saw them.
Yeah.
Why would you make these things?
Dark.
Why would you even have robots at all? I mean, we've all seen Terminator probably. We know the allegory and the warnings, and we're still just marching right in.
I know.
Driving off the cliff like this.
I know. But like that's the thing, the contrast to all this mayhem that's going on with robotics, and then this idea of like having a house concert, for instance, where it's just your community that you've cherry picked typically to be in your space.
Yep.
And then you have this artist or a few artists come in and like intimately share these stories with you and exchange stories, and it's the meet and greet before and after.
Love it.
You can't beat that stuff.
Cannot.
You can't.
That's where we're headed, and we're going to keep that stuff alive.
Yeah, totally.
All right, well, we're going to take a little break, and we're going to set up the music, and we're going to play a song, because we always got to end with a song. Well, thanks for coming on. This was super fun.
Thanks, Anthony.
Yay. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
had my sister's strength to wait. Deep blue innocence of all the saints, but you came to me like a tidal wave. My flowing hair was heaven to behold, taken for the sins that never would unfold, a secret hidden from a light of day. You got me, you got me, you got me, you got me hanging on. Oh, 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 oh. You got me hanging on. Oh, 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 oh. You got me hanging on. Oh, oh. You got me hanging on. Mother, please, I'm good as I can be. All these years I should have got a name for me, but I'll keep dreaming till I fade away. You got me, you got me, you got me, you got me hanging on. Oh, 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 oh. You got me hanging on. Oh, 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 oh. You got me hanging on. Oh, oh. You got me hanging on. Oh, I told you come around when it was safe, but your love is careless now and I'm afraid we can't take this back. We can't take this back. My head is filled with thoughts of me and you, linen kisses stolen around the back of noon. We can't take this back. We can't take this back. I pressed your limits, now I'm gone to bed. Salvation in my head, got between my legs. We can't take this back. We can't take this back. You got me hanging on. Oh, 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 oh. You got me hanging on. Oh, 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 oh. You got me hanging on. Oh, oh, oh. You got me hanging on.
Nice. What a great song that is.
Yeah, I love it.
I was starting to say that the drummer we had on the session the other day, Jamie Cooper, remarked about how cool that middle breakdown is.
That's right.
This song is all about dynamics, and actually, I love this acoustic version because I played this song with you a lot with the band. But you do this thing halfway through the chorus where you bring it down and go back up, and that's really effective.
Yeah, it's. I think it has the potential to run away with itself. So I like just pulling it back and just
Great.
keep it in the.
And yeah, that middle breakdown is just so. See, with my amp off, it's even more effective.
Yeah. It's just a whisper of a hint of an idea.
A whisper of a hint of an idea, of a concept, of a maybe. Definitely maybe.
Yes.
Well, thanks again for watching, and this has been a blast.
It has been a blast.
We'll
Thanks
do it
very
again.
much.
We'll do more music, and we'll check back in with Liz 0Stella after the album drops.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye.